Shikanoko, Shikanoko, Koshitantan. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the First Impressions Showdown. Number 11, actually. Wow. Hard to believe we've done so many of these. But we have an interesting set for you today. So, we have 3 that we are going to do. And we have a theme for this set. So, we are doing comedy anime. All of these, I believe, are all officially classified as comedy, even if they have other genres as well. But first off, we have a brand new series that just came out, I think back on Friday, that has been taking the internet by storm because of its opening, and that is Shikanoko, Nokonoko, Koshitantan. That is the actual name of it. It's titled, I heard what it translates to, but basically, I forgot exactly what it is, but basically the series is the Dear Girl series. If you've seen anything about this on social media, which would be a surprise if you haven't, it's the Dear Girl comedy anime that just came out that's been, again, a big hit even before it came out, and from what I heard, people are liking it since the first episode released. But it's basically the kind of absurd anime humor. I don't think it's quite on the level of Nichijou, but in that same kind of ballpark where it's just absolute ridiculousness. I have seen one clip from it, and that is actually what made me decide to check this out. So I'll tell you what that clip is when we get to that. But yeah, that's the only thing I've seen. I have seen the opening as well. At least part of the opening. I've seen, I guess, the beginning of it when they're doing the dance thing that I just emulated in the cold open. But otherwise, I don't know exactly what to expect, because I haven't seen the rest of the opening because I decided not to watch it because it'd probably be in the first episode here, but we'll see. We'll see. Either way, our second series that we're doing is Dead Demons Dededede Destruction. That is what it's called. I don't know what this is about at all, but I've seen it. When I've been getting other anime and stuff, like One Piece, I've seen it listed on the sites and all, and I'm kind of curious as to what it's going to be. I haven't heard too many people talking about this one, but that could mean anything. So I don't know what to expect from it at all. The title, I guess, Dead Demons, zombie demon things. I don't know. But the third series we're going to react to today is Nerima Daikon Brothers. And this one's a special one because this isn't only a first impressions reaction, it is also a donation reward first impressions reaction from Venom. So Nerima Daikon Brothers is older than these other two. These other two are currently airing. But this one is I want to say it's from the 90s, but I'm not 100% on that. And I don't know anything about what it's about or whatnot. But I actually was scrolling through TikTok and I saw something. It was this older anime. It was this clip that was shown on TikTok because sometimes people put that stuff there. And I looked at the description of the TikTok video to see if it said what it was, and it said Nerima Daikon Brothers. And I was like, oh wait, Venom requested that. I don't remember what the clip showed. I really don't. I don't know if it's in the first episode or not, and I don't know if I'll even remember it when I see it. All I remember is that it was very comedic centered. So, yeah. Kind of goes with the theme that we're working with today, so I thought it would be cool to bring this into the Showdown as well. So yeah, those are the 3 we're going for. Now, if you're new to the channel and haven't seen one of the previous 10 first impressions showdowns, let me explain what this is. So, a first impressions reaction, I should probably explain that first, is a type of reaction we do on this channel where I check out the first episode and then I decide whether or not I'm going to continue reacting to it or not. It's basically a way for me to preview a series that I'm just unsure about, that I'm not sure if I'm going to like, and see if it's something that I think I would want to continue to react to in the future. And there's three options, actually. So it's either I continue to react to it in the future, I watch it on my own time, which is usually actually hard for me to find time to do, or I just drop it because I didn't enjoy it. It's one of those three options, and I decide that at the end. Now, with a showdown, it's a little different because we're previewing multiple reactions. Now, it technically works the same. We watch the episode and we determine if I'm going to continue it or not based on my first impressions of it. But because this is all in one video, what we do here is there's going to be 3 separate links in the description. And I'm going to talk about why there's links in the description to this all in the first place. I'm going to talk about that in a bit here. But there's 3 separate links in the description that will lead to each of the reactions separately. And then the afterthoughts of this video, this redirect, will have 3 separately recorded afterthoughts sections. And they'll all be sorted out on the video bar, the progress bar. And it'll tell you like the timestamps as to when each of the new things begins, so you won't have to worry about that. You'll be able to tell exactly which section of the video of this redirect will have each of those separate afterthoughts portions. But they're going to be one after the other, but I'm going to record each afterthoughts after I record the reaction. So it's like, for example, Shikanoko, Nokonoko, Koshitantan. I'll record the reaction to that. Then I will record the afterthoughts to that before I go to the next reaction, because I want to have it fresh in my head and everything. And so then I'll record the next reaction and the afterthoughts to that one, and so on and so forth. And after I've done all of that, I'll record like a final thoughts, a final closing thoughts to end off this redirect video on. So that's how it's going to be organized. And again, I'll get to why why the reactions are being redirected in a moment here. But yeah, if you're new to these kind of videos, I hope that clears things up for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and we can clear things up even more. Me or anyone else who's a regular viewer on the channel who happens to see it maybe before I do. But yeah. So, that all being said, we are doing these in that order. We're doing Shikanoko, then we're doing Dead Demons, and then we're doing Daikon Brothers. We're doing that order for it. So they're going to be in that order in the afterthoughts portion of this video as well. And yeah, we will just kind of go from there. Now, we're going to get this started, but before we do, I do want to remind y'all, or for anyone new here, let y'all know that we do have a lot of great content to check out on this channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions. And on Monday, we also do YouTube, or at least YouTube-adjacent reactions. Basically, shorts, specials, mini-series that don't have enough episodes, anything really that doesn't fit into a normal series or movie reaction goes in this slot. And speaking of movie reactions, we normally have those every Saturday and Sunday. I pre-record them during the week, upload them on the weekend so that every day has some sort of reaction content going on for it. And I said normally, because this week, if you're watching this when it first came out, this week we are doing a special week called Zatoichi Week. We have to go through a lot of movies in the Zatoichi film series so far because we've only seen the first 2. So we're taking this entire week, Monday through Friday specifically, and putting up another Zatoichi movie reaction every day, not including Saturday and Sunday. So there's going to be 5 total Zatoichi movies uploaded during the course of this week. And because of that, like I said, there will be no movie reactions on Saturday and Sunday this week. But we'll go back to Saturday, Sunday movies next week. So yeah, we got some interesting things to look forward to with that. But we also have Let's Play content on the channel. Currently, we are playing through Horizon Forbidden West. This is being uploaded every other day. So you would have seen one yesterday on Sunday, but you'll also see one tomorrow on Tuesday, and then Thursday, and then Saturday, and so on and so forth. Every other day. We also are doing Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 on Saturdays. This is a donation reward Let's Play for Venom. And we're only doing Chapter 1 because that's all that's on the PS5 so far. And if you want to know how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play, go to the channel search, and all in one search, type in June Double Reward Month PS5. It should tell you everything, it should lead you to the correct video that'll tell you everything you need to know in regards to how to donate for a future PS5 Let's Play. But, that being said, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in, and let's get this started. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the 3 separate links to each of the separate reactions, or whichever ones you just end up wanting to watch. And just as a note, this is what I was talking about before, we do redirect all reactions on this channel. You understand how YouTube's copyright system is pretty shitty, right? Because of that, we could end up getting hit with channel strikes or even a channel termination, and I've dealt with both of those before. I don't want to deal with them again if I can help it. So because of that, just to stay safe on the channel, we push all reactions to a different site. I know it's inconvenient, you don't want to have to click all these extra links just to get to the reactions, but it's only 1 link per video. You just go down to the description below, click the link, or in this case, one of the 3 links, and it'll take you straight to the video. And that's all you need to do. And on the plus side, all reactions, this counts for shows, movies, etc., all reactions on the channel are full and unedited. You get to see the full, unedited, uncut reactions as they are, for free. You don't have to pay anything, there's no paywalls, you don't have to subscribe to any Patreon, and you don't even have to sync up your own copy. It's just automatically there when you click the link and go to the other site. So, I think that's pretty awesome, because not every reaction channel here on YouTube is able to get away with that, and for valid reasons. There's a lot of valid reasons, from monetization to copyright issues. Not every YouTuber can get away with stuff like this. And that's fair, that's fine. But I do pride myself on being one of the channels that can give this to you. Again, full unedited reactions, completely free. I think that's pretty awesome. So, you'll have to tell me. But after you watch the reactions, or whichever of the 3 you're interested in, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, don't know what I'm doing with my hands here, after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts. Once again, separated into 3 separate afterthoughts, 1 for each series. And it will be organized as such with chapters on the progress bar. So you'll be able to see when each one starts. And the afterthoughts will not only contain spoilers for the episodes, but just my general thoughts on them, and whether or not I want to continue reacting to them in the future. And just as a note, if I do continue reacting to them in the future, it won't be right away. They'll be put onto a list, and I have a certain slot during the week that is specifically for shows that are continuations of first impression reactions. The current one we're doing is Kim's Convenience, for example. So yeah, there will be more coming. It's just a matter of when I get to them specifically, but they will be on the list if I decide to continue reacting to them, and that means we will get to it eventually. But all of that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any thoughts, any questions, leave those down below. But for now, I'll see you at the reactions. And we are back with the Shikanoko Koshitantan portion of the afterthoughts. And we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, this was pretty much as absurd as I was expecting it to be based off the one clip I had seen, which, as I said, was the one where she enters the classroom by smashing through the door and wall and all, and the little bit of the opening I saw. It's pretty much what I expected it to be. Though I admit the fourth wall breaks were a lot more plentiful than I was expecting. But in terms of just the general humor and all. So the title is clearly named for our main characters. Shikanoko is the deer girl. She seems very energetic. And there's times where she seems like she doesn't quite understand things around her, but then other times she seems like she understands a little too well. And it's clear, it's kind of unclear, like, if she knows, like, when she's, like, manipulating people and stuff, like she does with, like, coercing Koshi to get her off of the wires and all. But she very much comes across as kind of naive sometimes, so it's hard to say. I don't think she's, like, bad or anything by any means. I'm just wondering if, like, she understands, like, what she's doing and how weird she comes across. Because, again, sometimes it's really hard to tell. Like, there's the part where, like, she seemed like she was very sensitive about her appearance, but then she just takes the top of her head off, and it's like, I don't even know. I understand it's supposed to be absurdist humor, so it's not really supposed to make sense. It's not really supposed to be logical. And I compared this in the pre-thoughts. I made a comparison to, like, Nichijou, and was, like, saying that it might be similar to that in regards to, like, you know, the crazy, wacky, out there humor and whatnot. And there definitely is a comparison to be made. Though the tone is definitely different. The style of the humor is very different. Because it's like this series, the humor seems to be centering around mostly a couple's very specific jokes, such as Shikanoko, you know, being a deer girl, and Koshi being a former delinquent and apparently a virgin. It's a very few specific jokes that focus on, while Nichijou is just like random bullshit for the sake of random bullshit. It's like you never know what's gonna happen in Nichijou. It's like shit just goes down, and it's like you never really know what's gonna happen. The most famous scene in Nichijou is the deer scene too, funny enough. And it just comes out of nowhere. One of the characters, I'm trying to think of her name right now, but I can't. I don't think it's Mio. No, Mio's the blue-haired girl. But anyways, she's like outside of the classroom. I don't remember the exact reason, but I believe she was like told to stand out in the hall or something. And she suddenly looks out into the school courtyard and sees, out of nowhere, with nothing like setting it up at all, the principal of the school about to, you know, try to wrangle a deer. And then he starts fighting the deer and starts like wrestling the deer. He does like a bridging German suplex on the deer, and it's like just the most ridiculous random shit. It doesn't mean anything either. There's no point to it. It's just a completely out of nowhere random bullshit humor scene, and that's the kind of thing that Nichijou goes for. Again, this seems to be like more like centering around these specific jokes. Like when Koshi goes to the classroom, sees all of the deer cookies, the deer crackers. Um, it's like, yeah, we get the joke there because she's a deer. Um, and all the jokes that go along with her antlers because she's a deer. Now, I do want to mention something. Um, I do want to mention something, and let me see if I can find like the specific information regarding it here, just before we before I say anything specifically, just so I get all the facts about it right. Okay, so apparently, some deer, some female deer do have antlers. Um, but typically they seem to not. And I think I was then told the wrong thing. Unless I'm thinking of a different animal. Am I thinking of like reindeer? Maybe I'm thinking of reindeer. Um, because what I had heard is that female deer do have antlers, but they shed them in the winter. Maybe I'm thinking of reindeer. Let me check. Nope, nope, no. Go away. No, it's trying to share this. I'm not trying to type things out on this is difficult. Okay, yes, it's reindeer I was thinking of. I mean, you could see how I could come to that confusion though. Female reindeer do grow antlers, but they're usually smaller than a male's. While in most other deer species, only the males have antlers. Yeah, so reindeer was what I was thinking of. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Okay, um, because yeah, reindeer grow antlers, female reindeer, but they shed them in. I believe they shed them in the winter. So like a lot of times you'll even see them without in the winter without antlers, and you'll like just kind of assume and stuff. Um, or no, no, no. Hold on. No, I think it's the male reindeer who shed their antlers. Hold on. Yeah, male reindeer shed their antlers in the late fall, early winter. Which means, yeah, because this is how I heard it. I'm remembering how I heard it now, because this means that all of the reindeer on Santa's sleigh would be female because they all have antlers, and male reindeer shed their antlers at the end of fall or early winter and get them back in the spring, grow them back by the spring and all. So it would actually they would all be female. That's what I heard. See, I got mixed up. I got mixed up. I thought it was like regular deer for a second there, but it's reindeer specifically, and it's the males that shed their antlers, not the females. That's how I heard. I completely remember now. Because I've heard just a lot of people mention that, like, just because it's a funny little fact about reindeer and all. Um, but yeah, so apparently, most species of female deer do not have antlers typically, but they can. It's a really rare thing. Um, so yeah, um, just interesting little fact there though. But that would mean that if Shikanoko is not a reindeer, then she would have to be assigned male at birth, wouldn't she? Do we have a trans deer girl in this? Is Shikanoko trans? Is that what this is going for? Like, I know it's not. I obviously know it's not. I'm making a joke. Just want to emphasize that right here. But it's like, that's the only, like, unless it's just one of those rare cases. It's probably just one of those rare cases then. Because again, it's in very rare cases, female deer can have antlers. They're just usually really small, and they do look smaller than than the antlers on the other deer we had seen there. So I guess that tracks. Though I don't think they're usually that big with like most deer. But you know, it's a stupid absurdist comedy anime, so not really much to analyze there. I'm over analyzing for sure. Anyway, so what do I think of this overall? I think this is funny. I think it's so absurd that it's funny. And they're referencing like different like games and anime and stuff, manga anime in the opening and the actual series. Like there is very clearly the Detective Conan reference. There is very clearly in the opening references to JoJo and Dark Souls, and it's just like with all the fourth wall breaking, with all the deer humor and stuff, it's like I can dig some good reference humor as well. I think this is good. I think it's fun. This could be a genuinely enjoyable series to check out. And it's not like it's the first time I've checked out comedy anime. And this is bound to be better than Asobi Asobase, which like was the bad side of absurdist humor, in my opinion. Um, and definitely better than Pop Team Epic, which was just random without any kind of purpose or humor, really, in my opinion. So maybe this will be the good humor anime that I react to. And yes, that does mean I do plan to continue reacting to this in the future. Like I said in the pre-thoughts, I don't know when that's going to be. It's going to be added to the list. I might do what I did for the last, when we chose Kim's Convenience, and I might just continue, at least for now, doing the wheel, the wheel randomizer for the first impressions reactions to choose what I go with next. I think that could be a fun idea. So maybe we'll just have like a plethora of stuff that could end up being chosen from each time, and it's just we go with whatever's randomly chosen. So this could come sooner, it could come later. I don't know. We'll see. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Shikanoko Nokonoko Koshitantan? Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you're here to check out any of the other reactions as well, please do. The links are, as always, in the description below. But this will now be going into the next afterthoughts portion, so thank you so much for tuning into this one. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Okay, and we are back with the Dead Demons Dededede destruction portion of these afterthoughts. If you're looking for the afterthoughts for another one of the reactions we're doing for this, this is not the one. This is specifically for Dead Demons Dededede destruction. So yeah. That being said, we will be in the spoilers in 3, 2, 1 now. So, that was not a comedy. It was not what I expected. I thought it was going to be like... I didn't know what to expect, but I thought I heard like this as a comedy, and I thought like with the title like that it would be. But apparently very much not. This is like a sci-fi post-apocalyptic kind of series. I also realized that the episode I got was episode 0. This isn't actually episode 1. I don't know if this episode is like canon to the manga or if it is related to the original source and to the main story at all. I feel like it would be weird to go into the rest of this at this point, though, if this wasn't canon. You know what I mean? it would feel kind of weird because it's like you would have to change completely everything. And if you change everything about the story, then what's the point of this? If it's not canon, I'm saying. And if it is canon, then why is it episode 0? Is this something that's like maybe not normally shown until later on? I'm just not sure. But one thing like caught my attention, and I want to I'm gonna mute this because I want to find the specific moments where it says this stuff, right? So Nobuo wakes up after the invasion, right? And these girls tell him that he's been unconscious for more than 8 years. Since the August 32nd, I think it was, is what they're calling it. Since the alien invasion, basically. He's been unconscious for more than 8 years. That is what it says. Now, at the end here, when he's recognized by the one kid, who recognizes him as Katade's dad, he's shown the photo of all these kids in Katade at this summer camp. And they're saying it was years ago at a university summer camp. Which, by the way, none of them look like they're in university. So was that like prior to the invasion? Because he seemed surprised and confused by that. Like he seemed like he didn't understand what that was talking about. I don't know. Obviously, if it's a spoiler, I guess don't tell me, but I was kind of confused by that. Now, I also want to apologize for having to stop it and cut it midpoint. I usually don't like do much editing in the reactions, and you still get to see the full reaction to the full episode and everything. But I did have to cut it there because of the interruption that happened. There's not really much I can do about that. So yeah, I do apologize for that, but I mean, hey, you still got to see the full reaction anyway, so I guess it doesn't entirely matter. But yeah, let's actually talk about it. So this manga editor is sent to the mangaka's house to get the newest chapter and everything. This mangaka's always late though, and he's supposed to fire him, but chooses not to because apparently this big twist is really good, I guess, and he just didn't have the heart to do it. And then suddenly, aliens invade. Alien invasion happens, shit goes down, and then Nobuo wakes up 8 years later, and we find out that there is a dead body inside of his body. Apparently, he was, killed or on the verge of death or something like that, but his body was taken over by one of these invaders. And for, I guess, these 8+ years, his body was still going around, but the invader was kind of in control. And I guess it probably had at least some of his memories to some degree. Somehow had access to, like, know who he was and stuff, and know things about him. But now, all this time later, he's finally woken up. His consciousness basically took over, and the consciousness of the invader has disappeared. So he's back in control, even though the dead corpse, I guess, of the invader is still in his body. So that's interesting. These girls help him kind of figure out what's going on, and they all decide to head out. The girls are trying to get in with this extremist rebel group to try and get help moving forward, better living situation than they're currently in. And he wants to get to Tokyo to find his family, and especially his daughter specifically. On the way there, they're attacked by this robot that's talking about, like, oh, uh, your device is not in line with Tokyo procedures or standings or whatever. And it's like, it starts shooting at them and even, like, shoots the one girl's leg. They eventually stop, get it bandaged up, but it's, not the best work because they're not medical professionals. And suddenly the extremist group comes out of nowhere, and is trying to take him into custody to use as an experiment. Because I guess he's, because he has the invader inside of him, and I guess that's partially what's kept him alive and all. He's valuable research, basically. And then the extremist group just kills the two girls, like, super nonchalantly, and it's just like, Jesus fuck. And he ends up going on the run and being saved by this other group at the end, who are these others that apparently know Kadade. It's like, this is a very, like, intense and heavy series dealing with, post-apocalypse stuff of an alien invasion, and dealing with, like, these kids getting, violently and horrifically murdered, which is, fun to see. Really wasn't expecting to see that today, but all right. This series is a lot. And I don't mean that in a bad way by any means, but I think this is one that I might, like, prefer to, like, watch on my own time. Or at the very least, maybe with someone else's reactions or something. I don't know. I don't think I want to react to this. And it's not out of any, like, issue with the quality or anything, because the quality's good. It's well made. And it's very interesting. But I'm not sure if it's something that I'm here for right now, I guess you could say. It seems like it's probably going to be a pretty harsh, intense series. And I just don't want to get into anything that's, like, super heavy like that. But then again, it would just be put on my list, and I don't have to get to it anytime soon, to be fair. I do have to think about that, too. I wouldn't be getting into it right away. You know what? I think I will put it on the list. Just because of that. I think I talked myself into it. I think we will react to it in the future, just whenever I'm ready for that kind of thing. Because I'm definitely not in, like, I guess you could say, the headspace for that kind of series right now. Whenever I'm in the right headspace for that kind of show, maybe we'll do it then. But for now, I think I'm just going to put a hold on it and put it on the list. So, yes, we will react to it in the future. I think we will react to it in the future. I just don't know when. It might be longer than some other stuff, but, we've already had stuff on the list for a long time as it is, so we'll get to it eventually. When I'm in the mood for a series like this. But that all being said, tell me your thoughts down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode 0, I guess, of this series. And we still have another for me to record and get to, so I should probably get on that. Thank you all so much for tuning into this one, whether you were here for just this or for a bunch of them. And for now, I'm Connie, and see you at the next one. And we are back with the Nerima Daikon brothers portion of these afterthoughts. So if you're here for a different afterthoughts, this is not the right portion. Go check on the other portions of the afterthoughts in um, the progress bar chapters and all. Or you could just check the description below. That'll give all the timestamps and all. But yeah, Nerima Daikon Brothers spoilers begin in 3, 2, 1, now. No. Just no. Like, I rarely describe something that I watch or whatever as cringe, but I would 100% describe this as cringe. Like, nothing about this was funny. Nothing was entertaining. It's not. Most of it wasn't like offensive or anything, except, the non consensual hand jobs and stuff, which was just, not good for a number of reasons. And yeah, they very much made it clear that it was not good, but I also just don't want to see that kind of shit. And it's like, I get like the point of them like becoming like these criminal Robin Hood types almost to get back at like these terrible rich people. I get the idea. I get the idea that like, oh, the rich elite is just this terrible like sexual assaulter who has like a harem of young twinks who's probably forcing to be there. But it's like, what the fuck? It's like, I don't want to see that. The music is none of it feels like it matches. Like, you have like a good portion of the episode which is just one song after the other with maybe like a line or two of dialogue in between. But then you'll have long stretches without music for some reason. And none of the music feels like it belongs together, in my opinion. It just feels like random, completely irrelevant music that just is there just to have music. It's like none of it was like that good or entertaining to me either. And it's just like I was more confused and like, well, with the sexual assault, also annoyed than I was entertained at any point in this. And I'm feeling like this is probably why, Venom, you chose this as a first impression rather than just a regular donation reward. I feel like you probably knew I would have, or could at least have, thoughts like this regarding it. And you weren't sure how I was going to handle the style of humor and everything that this series kind of goes for. Which, if that is the case, then probably a smart idea. Because it's like, again, it's just like, I didn't enjoy this. Like, it was okay. It was serviceable up until the sexual assault started. Once that started happening, it's just like instantly all interest I had in this dropped. And it never really recovered. And it's like, it's trying to kind of be one of those oh so random types of comedic shows where it's like, oh, suddenly just everyone is some kind of weird vegetable alien. But it's like, it just, when you try to do like super random humor without a purpose, it just feels forced. It feels like you're just, you know, trying to be random without actually being random. I don't know how else to put that. You can't do lol, I'm so random humor on purpose, is what I'm trying to say, I think. If you try to do it on purpose too heavily, it ends up feeling, again, forced and unnatural and not funny. Random humor like this has to be kind of like a natural progression of what else is going on. If it's the main core of your humor, it doesn't work. And it's just annoying at that point. It's like I've seen plenty of shows with very random, out there humor. Nichijou is the first one that always comes to mind because of how genuinely funny it is. And Nichijou, it features heavily random bullshit, out of place humor. But Nichijou also goes to such an extreme with it to where the most absurd bullshit things happen at any given time. And for example, a person can get their leg bitten by a dog. And their response is not just to cry out in pain, but to shoot a laser beam from their mouth. A person might trip and fall down, and what happens? They explode in this massive nuclear explosion. That's how you do random humor, by taking it to an extreme level that just makes no sense, is absolutely absurd, but doesn't feel intrusive. It doesn't feel like it's trying too hard. Instead, it feels like the writers just thought up an idea, thought it was funny, and just added it in. It's really hard to explain. It's really hard for me to explain how to make this work, because absurd random humor is just a really absurd, like, almost concept, and it's very difficult to get right. Nichijou did it very well. Shikanoko is, like I said in those afterthoughts. Little spoiler for Shikanoko here if you haven't seen that one yet. But in that portion of the afterthoughts for that series from this Showdown, I did just mention that it's like, unlike Nichijou, it's not as absurd and random. It has more of a point. It has more of a focus to it, and that's kind of what made it work as well. Nichijou, I think, is just one of those really rare examples of like where going heavy on the absurdism somehow works. I think that the art style also helps with it. The way the characters react, the voice actors help. But in something like this, it just, again, it feels too try hard. It feels too cheesy, too absolutely ridiculous in the wrong way. And it's honestly, again, in my opinion, just cringy. I don't find it entertaining. I don't find it enjoyable to watch. I just didn't like it. So, yeah, that one's going to have to be a no for me. I just didn't enjoy this one. But while I won't be continuing this for sure, if you enjoy it, that's completely fine. It's just, I'm just sharing my opinions. Keep that in mind. As with everything I've done today and all the reactions I do in general. But, that being said, let us go into the final afterthoughts, which is my overall thoughts, overall feelings, etc. So, yeah, let's get into that. Okay, and we are here for the final afterthoughts, just my overall final impressions on these three series, and just a reminder of what my decision on all of them will be. So, if you have not watched the previous ones and don't want spoilers for my thoughts on any of them, I'm probably not going to go into like heavy detail here, but just giving you a little warning that I will be talking about them briefly. So, that being said, let us get this going. So, out of these three shows, I think my favorite in terms of like what I would probably watch the most or want to watch the most right now, like currently, would weirdly enough be Shiko Noko Koshitantan. It's a wild name. The Deer Girl anime. Because like I said in the afterthoughts for Dead Demons, I'm not really in a state like a mindset right now for that kind of series, based on what we got with episode one there. While Shiko Noko is just fun. It's fun and it's kind of cute. It's funny. Um, and then Nerima Daikon Brothers is just, I didn't like it. I did not think it was good. I was not amused. But I did get some notable thing wrong. I said in the pre-thoughts that like these were all comedy, and it's like that is clearly not the case with Dead Demons. That is not a comedy. I thought it was. I thought I had heard that it was, and I thought based on the title that it probably would be. It's a ridiculous, silly title. Dead Demons, D Destruction. It's like you see that title and you would think comedy. That would be like I think anyone's instant thought, right? So the fact that it's like this post-apocalyptic sci-fi drama, it's like what? But yeah, it's wild. It's crazy, and again, it's not a bad show. It's something I actually really enjoyed, but I'm just not in the right mindset for that kind of series right now, like especially like with the kids being like so aggressively and violently killed like that. It's just a matter of yeah, I'm not in the right mindset for this kind of show. It's going to upset me too much. Um and Shigo Nokonoko was like absurd and silly and all, but like I said in the other portions, it had like a focus to it that kept it from being too like like poorly handled, I guess. It wasn't as random as it could have been too, because it had the focus on the deer jokes and whatnot. So I think it actually worked because of that. This was a very interesting set of episodes, though. And yeah, it's also interesting to note that that the Dead Demons one was in episode 0. Excuse me. Not even episode 1, technically. So, yeah. And I had completely forgotten that I was gonna do the dub for Nerima Daikon Brothers. I had actually downloaded the episode during the weekend. And so it's like I forgot that I got the dub, and I forgot that that was intentional because that's what you requested, Venom. But yeah, so just as a quick recap with what will be continuing, I will be continuing Shiko Nokonoko. I will be continuing Dead Demons, though that will definitely not be anytime soon. It's just I have to wait till I'm in kind of a good mindset for that. And I will not be continuing Nerima Daikon Brothers. So I apologize, Venom, the one of these that was a donation reward first impression. It's just, it was very much not my thing. Like, honestly, if you had requested this as a regular reward instead of a first impression reward, I still would have, like, dropped it after that. So, yeah, you made the right decision specifically making it a first impression. Um, because it's like that was absolutely not a show I would want to watch like any more of at all. But again, if you really like that, that's fine. It's just my opinion, and I'm allowed to not like something. Um, but yeah, so this was a very very interesting set. Like I said, my favorite would have to be Shikanoko, just in terms of what I'm like looking for right now in terms of content. But like overall, I could see the most potential being for Dead Demons and Nerima Daikon Brothers. I just don't want to see that again. So yeah, tell me your thoughts on any or all of these three down in the comments below. Do not spoil me on anything that's to come. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you ever want to donate for a future first impression reaction, you can. Remember, donation rewards don't have to only be just like a regular series reward. You can donate for something as a first impression if you're really not sure what I'm going to think about it. It's sometimes even a really good idea, just to be safe. But all of that being said, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I guess we're gonna sign off. So thank you so much for tuning in once again. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. I'm repeating myself at this point. See y'all next time.